Satu Dave, what's up, y'all? Another Sunday fun day, sitting and bullshitting. Probably gonna be long this week. I told you guys last week I'd do you an update on the shipper container build, and I think I'm gonna do this video and then I'll drop another video after this about the shipper container. So you guys ain't interested in the shipper container, you ain't gotta waste your time. Sound good? All right. All right. So it's been a kind of cool week knife wise. I've been so consumed with that build out there that I really had a whole lot of time to stop and sit down and kind of gather my thoughts about a lot of knife stuff because I've been thinking about that other stuff over there. But I like to wheel and deal. I love the community aspect of the knife collection. And Will and I have been trading back knives and force, and also Scotch and Things Steve. Me and him been doing it. Steve Clare. There's a bunch of people that share knives. Like this one just got back from Jeff, and he checked out the XL tier. If anybody else wants to check this one out, I think Appalachian ADV Rider. I think you said you wanted to see this one too. If you want to check it out, just let me know. You know how to find me on Instagram. Just let me know. Drop me a message. We'll get it to you. But let's just start with the Will story. Okay, so Will and I traded a couple nights back and forth. I've sent him a few just to check out. He sent me a few to check out. That how that story always goes. And he's kind of sort of pretty much since I've known him been talking about maybe selling this fat daddy he had, and never really showed a whole lot of interest. Like I've seen it, it's cool and all, and I've had fat daddies in the past, but for whatever reason, like when he told me about it, I wasn't like head over heels about it because I've got this TFF 1H. This one here is pretty much my favorite Medford. If I'm grabbing a Medford, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be this guy. And I like that Marauder H that I had as well. And I think the deal's pretty much done, other than he's got to see the Marauder H. But I sent him a Marauder H, and he's got a Direware Solo, so I'm gonna trade him both of those for this fat daddy. Maybe a little unfair, but I don't know. Like when you want something, like I want this one, I don't really care. Like at that point, I'm just going full charge into it. So I think 99% sure this is mine, but I haven't done anything with it because I want Will to confirm that he's good with it before I go to hacking in on the stuff. So from my experiences, this one came in first. So this was a Monday. This one came in the mail Monday. And I'd seen pictures of it, but like getting it in hand and seeing in pictures are two different things. I'm not a gold NO kind of guy. Like that's just not my flavor. But with this knife, it all kind of goes. Now, if this one becomes mine, will that stay gold? I don't know. I'm having mixed emotions mentally about, changing it up or not changing it up. I don't know. Like, we'll see. But the main thing that I want to say is I've had fat daddies in the past, and I think the ones that I will have were the older D2 ones. But when he wasn't even, the snakes, he was doing the 2-hole pivots instead of the 6 holes. And the thicknesses of the titanium were different back then than they are now. So now I'm going to show you, this is the H and this is the fat daddy. So you can see they're exactly the same thickness. The only difference is the tie is thinner on this one and the blade's thicker on the fat daddy. So the overall thickness, so when you stack them together like this, you can see, well, let's see if I can hold them right. If you can see that right, they're exactly the same thickness. Now, so I always thought, thinking back from the old fat daddies, that this was actually a fatter knife than this was. And I always I like that 3/4 overall width here, like in the hand. This one feels exactly like that one does as far as like their circumference, the overall grip on this one. And this one has a different feel to it than even the H does, because the H is a lighter blade. This is a heavier blade, so it has more of a thunk. When it comes out, you get that nice little thunk on it. It's so hard to put into words without having it in your hand. All 3 of these handled differently. We'll work into the Steves now. So Steve, Scotch and Things, Steve, also had a fat daddy, and I didn't know he was really selling it until Aaron told me that I guess I kind of sort of knew that he was selling it too, but I don't know why on both these guys. I don't know why I didn't ask, hey, can I see your fat daddy before I might be interested in it. But for whatever reason, I was really happy with the H at the time, and I was like, I don't need more H's, but these aren't. These are different, and these are even different enough between each other, both being fat daddies. So Steve had sent this one off. This is now a Tanto fat daddy that's been customized by Thomas Kennard, and it's very, very different than what you see from Medford's, at least from what I've seen. Obviously, the grind now is a Tanto, and you can see it's like a little deeper towards the tip than it is towards the back, which I think I like that grind a lot, how it's like progressively in there. Super, super deep hollow. I love how deep this one is. And just contrasting between this one and the other Fat Daddy, Will's Fat Daddy, you know, they're not much different blade wise, but because of how hollowed out it is, this was a lighter blade than this one is. So you got this heavy blade. This one's kind of in the middle, and then this one's kind of at the end as far as the weight goes. And you really do feel that difference in your hands. Like, it's a real unique difference. This one being a tanto, like, I don't have any tantos from Medford, or haven't. At this point, my wife's got that fighter flipper, and she's got something else, like maybe a Praetorian Swift or something like that. But as far as me, like what I consider in my collection, these three are it. Like, I don't have any other Medfords. All the other ones seem to go away. Well, depending on if Will accepts that Marauder H, but he's, you know, that's all that deal in motion I already said. But anyway, back to the Thomas Kennard mod. So obviously the blade's been reprofiled, and he's also done this textured work. I think this is blue when it started off. Correct me if I'm wrong, Steve. I believe that was blue when it started off. And Steve even said this is not what he asked for at all. It came out really nice, but it's not what he asked for at all. And I could see where that would kind of irritate the hell out of me as well. But I don't know, like, this is kind of a love-hate for Steve. And we were talking about it. I kind of related it to, like, the Hoback situation for me. Like, kind of what Hoback did was, for me personally, was like, just like, almost like, it's not this unforgivable, because I don't really care one way or the other if the guy, you know, is still building knives, is he successful. Like, that's good. I'm glad he's doing his thing and enjoying life or everything else. But me personally, I have zero interest in any of his knives. Like, it's just something that's like, it kind of ruined me from the brand. And his knives are still cool. I'm not gonna say they're not. It's just I'm not interested at all in anything Hoback. It's just, so I think that's how Steve got with this. Like, he waited so long to get this knife, and then his buddy sent one, and his buddy's been, the Thomas Kennard's been sitting on his buddy's knife forever. Like, I had my mofo reground by Thomas Kennard, and it was supposed to be a 2-week turnaround, turned out to be like 2.5, 3 months. It's just one of those, like, beware if you're doing business with him. He does great work, but it ain't going to be on time. You pretty much got to forget about the knife and then expect to pay. So I think Steve's got a pretty good chunk of money in this. So ironically, like, Steve and I send a bunch of knives back and forth. Like, he had just got done. You know, I did that GF2 for him. Just did that thumb stud mod and sent it to him. Him and Sean, I did a mod for Sean's too. But so I also sent him the GF1 and the Sleeper to check out at the same time. I think he liked the GF1. I don't think he really liked the Sleeper too much. Speaking of which, sorry to interrupt. I'm all over the place. My bad. Aaron, you want to check this one out? Because I got to send you that COA anyhow for that Javelina. So if you want to check this one out, let me know. I might as well send it along, let you check this one out. It might be something you dig. It's a little bit bigger than a Javelina, but it's not huge. It's not as big as the normal DSKs. Sorry, squirrel. What am I talking about? Let's get back in on the Thomas Kennard thing. So the biggest thing is you can see how it's like DLC coated or ceramic coated, whatever they did, or PVD'd or whatever they did. And then the highlights are hit in gold anode. And then the pivot's kind of like a little bit more of that, I'm going to say flame anode. You can see how it's flamed. So on this one, some of the gold hardware kind of blends in, but to me, this doesn't at all. Like, I don't like this color. I'm not sure that these golden clips work for me. I'm not sure the gold there works for me. I'm not sure this works for me. And this one's already been modified, so you can pretty much bet on seeing changes to this one. Like, I might leave the hardware as is and buy new hardware and then customize it. Same with the over travel stop. I might just make one and, you know, put my own spin on what's going on there so that it can be returned to this. I don't know. But such a unique knife. So that's what I was talking about, the deal with Steve. Sorry, I got sidetracked mentally and hard to get back on track once I get sidetracked. So I'd already sent those DSKs for him to check out, you know, and then I wanted to send him a few more. So a while back, I traded Carco for that Kiyosin K9, which I think is the full-size frame lock, which I don't think they made a ton of those. And I've seen those anywhere from like $700 to like $2,500. So I don't know what makes them more or less desirable or expensive or rare or sought after. It was a cool one to check out. I sent that one to Steve Clare to check out, and I think Stevie and some of the guys that they hang out with got to check it out, which is cool. I'm glad I got to send it off. But I knew I wanted, when I got it, I knew I wanted to send it to Scotch and Think Steve, and I even commented, I think, when I first got it. And I don't think he really, like, necessarily wanted it. Like, he wasn't like, hey, what about the keys? He forgot about it, you know. But I just wanted to send it to him. Turned out when I sent it to him, he really enjoyed it. And I kind of thought he might, because it kind of sort of has that little Ford choily, like, Strider kind of thing where the handle's longer than the blade, but the blade still does awesome work and still robust. but it's lightweight, kind of a different look. I'm not into the colors. Like both these Fat Daddies are kind of like pushing me on the color limit. Like, will they stay this way? With me, it's hard to tell, man, but maybe, maybe not. I don't know. This one's definitely unique enough that makes me really think twice. The other one, like, I don't know, man. The goal's just not me, so I don't know what I'm going to do here. But both of them are mine at any moment. So the K9 is now Steve's. That's what I was trying to get to. And I put some money on top of it, and we made a deal. So I'm really glad that both these were kind of more traded for. I mean, a little bit of money involved too, but that's kind of personal between him and me as far as like how much and that sort of thing. But like we got the deal done, right? So two huge thank yous to both Will and Steve for both hooking me up. And now I have 3 Fat Daddies. And I don't know, if y'all want to see close-ups or something, let me know. I know JD had said something at one point about me doing more close-ups. It's just, for me, it's not really my style. I like sitting and bullshit, and I don't like the whole cutting and pasting and editing and sitting in a room for whatever. It's not that long to edit, but it's just not my thing. So if you really want to see close-up pictures, you can see them on Instagram. If you really want me to talk about them on close-ups, let me know. Maybe I'll do a video. All right, so that covers that. Yeah, okay, so that covers the Fat Daddies. Really happy. All 3 are unique. All 3 feel different, and I'm happy with all 3 of them. So all 3 of those are my Medfords at this point. I don't really think I have a whole lot of desire for more Medfords. But y'all have heard me say that before about DSKs, hadn't you? That I didn't really have a whole lot more desire. Like, I think I handled a lot of them. Like, here's my kickstand in Damascus. Really like this guy. And Jose, I can't get nothing past Jose, man. So posted a picture of this the other day, and he's like, "Hey, ain't that a new one?" I'm like, "Damn it, man! You're supposed to wait for the video, but he's too clever." Anyway, like, I wasn't trying to hide it, but this GF1, actually, Doug got what was the other one called that my buddy was selling? I can't remember what that other DSK was called. It's escaping me, but Doug 5-door or whatever the hell it is, Estate or whatever. I can't remember what your name is. Sorry, Doug. He got the other DSK that was for sale from this same guy, but this one's for sale. He gave me a hell of a deal on it before he even listed it publicly. He's kind of he must be buddies with Dan, because he gets a lot of stuff in that he just kind of turns and flips pretty much right away. And this thing sat for a minute. Like, I saw him for sale, and I was like, man, I can't believe I turned it down. I can't believe that I didn't get that. But at the time, I was like, I already got a GF1, so I got this GF1, what I was talking about earlier. This one is the G10 version, and it's the thick blade. So this is the 250 thick, but this one is the regular 3/16. So you can see blade thickness wise. It's kind of hard to tell, but overall thickness wise, how about there? This one's a much thicker knife than this one is. And they really do feel completely different, especially with the fuller and the hole. Like, it's almost a completely different knife. Like, this doesn't feel anything like this one does. I know y'all gonna feel weird when I say this shit, but honestly, like, this really reminds me of the Sabenza size that I wish they always made. Like, this is it. This is the bruiser size Sabenza. Like, it really has that nice contoured edge on this one, all done by hand by Dan, of course. But it rounds over. I mean, it's slab side. Don't get me wrong. The whole thing's not contoured, but it's rounded enough where it's a nice, heavy, round corner round on everything, all the way around the whole thing. He did a real good job on it. And it just kind of feels good in the hand. It almost reminds me like that whole, I don't know, the wrong probably adjectives for it, but kind of like it's just the same overall shape as like a Sabenza or even a Cosi or whatever. Like, it's just the same overall feel to it. And I really dig this. Like, this style here, like, I'm really into the Damascus right now. You know, we go through phases. But I'm really into Damascus right now, and the blasted tie or whatever else. And just the tie in general, like, plain tie is my thing. Like, the Rogovitz, which is another one that I sent Steve to go check out, and he's pretty much in love with that Rhino at this point, and I believe he ordered him a Kentucky special, because these are ones that, like, I can show you in video this knife, but, like, handle it in person, I know I'm all over the place, I apologize. Handle it in person is a completely different thing, completely different. Like, there's no way to describe how cool this thing is. But anyway, back to the tie. Sorry, sidetrack. So you can see I like that. It's definitely in my wheelhouse of style, right? This is definitely 100% in my wheelhouse. Obviously, this one's not Damascus, but, you know, Direware, same kind of way. You know, like, this is my last Direware now. This is my S90 Hawk Wheel. And the contoured scales. I don't know if you can see the contouring. I think you can. But that same plain kind of blasted tie, tumbled blasted tie. Even that, you know, the Hinder, the Project X that I did with that scale on, you know, like same kind of overall. This one's darker. This is more my finished style right here. But this style alone is like, it's just my wheelhouse, man. It's just, I like the plain, like the simple. Damascus is like the darker blade. It's almost like acid stonewash or acid etch blade or whatever. And now, tell me these two don't look like good damn pair. The kickstand and this GF1 with the Damascus. I hope that's coming through. This one's got some Earl on it, so that's oil for you non-redneck people. And I don't know, just great pair. I love this whole pair of things. So I'm thinking about selling this other GF1, but it is such a unique, I don't know, I'm debating on not selling it too, so I don't know. Anybody has any interest, let me know. I know Sean, I think Sean, you were talking about selling your GF2 that you got, which is pretty much similar to the other one that I did for Steve Scotch and things. But if you're interested, let me know, man. We'll work out something. Anywho, where am I going from here? Yeah, so it was just one of those ones that it took a while for me to realize that I wanted it, and then it took him a while to send it. Like, the dude got busy, he didn't send it right away. So I actually had bought this, like, I don't know, end of June or something like this, and I'm just getting it this week, which is fine. Like, me and him done deals before. I'm not like worried about it. If I hadn't done a deal before, I probably would have been kind of sweating it. But you know, it's part of the whole community trust thing. Like, I knew he was good for it, and as long as he told me what was going on, which, you know, he's like, hey man, I've just been busy. I'm like, that's fine, dude. Just send it when you can. Like, it's not like you float that much money to most people, but you know, when you're bros, shit happens. You know, you work it out. That's how it works. I think I'm gonna leave it there for the sitting and bullshitting today. I got other things I want to kind of show, but like, I'm in this room's disaster because I just got done, you know, doing the last of the trim on the shipping container, or at least what I hope to last. I don't know. We'll see. Almost done with the container, man. Almost done. So like, after that's done, I can refocus on stuff that I need to do here, which is organize this shop and bring some equipment in here, and then I'll show you what the next step is for the hopefully progression in a knife making, knife building, or whatever I end up doing with it. And for everybody that commented a couple weeks ago about that, what would you do kind of thing, that's really what I was getting at. Is, you know, like, I guess that might have got lost in the question and what I was saying, but like, if you're starting your own company, you know, being true to yourself, I guess, more or less building the shit that you like, and then hopefully other people will like it. So people brought up some interesting points that I hadn't thought about, and that's kind of why I posed it the way I did. I pretty much already knew what my, you know, interests were and what I was going to do with it. I was just curious about what would you guys do, and I'm glad I posed it that way, because I did, like Steve Clare, you know, also made a good point. It was like, you know, at a certain price, people that don't know you will take a gamble on you without having seen the knife, knowing they won't lose too much if they have to sell it to somebody else for someone else to try it, kind of thing, on a new maker, versus like trying to go out the gusto and try to compete with like $1,000 knives and stuff, which, you know, I don't know that I'll ever get there, or maybe I will. I don't know. Depends on what I build in the future. Who knows? I'm rambling, just talking shit at this point. So yeah, I'm gonna do that container build video here in a minute, update, whatever you want to call it. So if you're interested in the container thing, I'll probably go over that in a separate. I'm gonna go over that in a separate video. Other than that, man, thank you all for coming and watching. Like, it's not lost on me that you just listen to some dude rambling his chicken house or cat shed or whatever you're gonna call this thing. But hopefully we turn it into a shop, start progressing, do something else. I don't know. This ending's kind of weird for me. What am I doing? It's hot. We're just gonna call it there. You want to say hey to Wets for a second? Let's see the big guy. There he is. All right, Wets, say hey, big guy, big man. Hey, big dubs. Yep, that's what he said too. All right, we'll call it there. Later, y'all. Have a good week.